newspapers, of course, are going to pick up on that headline rate like they did last time around and say, yeah, inflation is back at target. But you're right. I think many of the members of the policy committee, and including a lot of economists, will be looking at that services sector inflation and worrying a bit. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had both Haskell and Peel both sounding a little bit hawkish. Haskell indicating that he wouldn't be voting for an interest rate cut in August. Peel perhaps surprisingly a little bit hawkish in his speech last week. So it's really not a done deal for August. And perhaps, like you say, maybe there is enough will amongst the committee members to announce an interest rate cut in August. After all, there's hundreds of thousands of people every year this year who will be rolling onto a new mortgage deal. And these are going to be at higher rates than they were before. So there is a real sense of realism at the Bank of England that for many people, monetary conditions are still tightening, despite the fact that inflation is coming lower. So perhaps a little bit of space for a move, but I really don't think it's a done deal because of the tightness of the services sector inflation, which of course is a reflection of the labour market.
Yeah, for sure. And look, back to your FX world, it's just suddenly I'm almost getting excited about travelling abroad again and how far my pound will go, Jane. Not quite excited yet, not quite back to those 145, 150 halcyon days. But we are back to 130, give or take the change as well. There's a bit of a feel-good around the UK, IMF getting all excited. I still wonder whether IMF's slightly political on this, but I'll leave that one aside. The Labour administration looks to reinvigorate a whole host with the King's speech today as well. Jane, the pound, regardless of interest rates, feels like there's a bit of a fair wind behind it.
Yeah, sterling is now the only currency to have outperformed the dollar in the year to date when within the G10 space. In fact, not only is it the best performing G10 currency in the year to date, but it was also the second best performing G10 currency last year. But, we need to put this in perspective, because if we're looking at cable, it was at an all-time low ever in September 2022, which of course was related to the Truss leadership. So sterling is beginning to get back on its feet, and there is a lot of optimism, I think, right now that perhaps with more stable politics, we can begin to get a better tone in terms of investment. We've seen the right noises from Rachel Reeves about trying to promote growth, trying to get the private sector involved in trying to boost investment and productivity. So the right noises so far. Perhaps it's a honeymoon period. We'll have to wait and see. But there does seem to be this view that as long as politics remains relatively boring, and to be fair, it was last year too, that investment growth can return. And of course, another event this week for the UK is that PM Starmer will be meeting many of the officials from Europe in Blenheim Palace, and this has created a little bit of optimism, perhaps about a better relationship with Europe, maybe about defence, maybe about agriculture, but we'll have to wait and see. But certainly there is a bit of a fair wind behind the pound right now.